Alrighty, morning everyone. Hope we're all doing well. So we're out today. We're out chasing flathead, bream, jew. Probably that's about it, maybe a tailor. We're just out in the estuaries. Got a couple of little lures rigged up. Got like 1/4 ounce, 1/8, that sort of gear. I think I got like 3-inch, 2-inch plastics. So yeah, we're just going for a good old estuary bash. Hopefully we can get some good fish. So we've got up nice and early. It's freezing cold. We've got about 2-3 hours I think before dead low. So plan is to fish here. We'll fish that last of the run out, then we're going to make a run upriver. There's a nice sandbar and as the water flows over it, hoping we could pick up a good flatty off that later on. But let's just get into it. Let's see how we go. So what we're going to start with is, I've seen a lot of reasonably sized bait fish getting around. So I've got a 3-inch paddle tail rigged up. You see, it's got like red bone or something colour. I thought it looked cool. We just got that on a, I think this is like a 3 to 5 kilo rod. Don't need to cast super far because we're sort of like in a bit of a channel here. Got this big flat that drains into it. All this section, all these mangroves will drain into it. So yeah. Just been watching side scan. There's heaps of bait fish moving through. Back in the marina where I launched the ramp, there was stacks of prawns. So there seems to be a bit of activity. But I brought a variety of options for the day just because I wasn't sure what I was going to actually need. So what I mean about there's a stack of bait moving through. So there's one fish and there's all that bait there. The other thing we're missing, a bit of scent. So this is an old sack scent, probably due for a new one actually. But this is like gold prawn or something prawn related. It's actually there is a crab. It's some kind of crustacean. That's a good school, something moving through. So what we're trying to find is essentially trying to use the sounder, figure out what the fish are doing, where they're going. Because you'll get mullet, like I said, you'll get little school jew moving through here. We're not going to see flathead, but there'll also be bream, whiting. Just essentially everything as this creek starts to drain out, it's sort of all got to come past us. But that's essentially what we're trying to do right now, is find something really that's willing to play. Give the grub a few casts. We just switched over to the I guess you'd call it ultralight. It's a little 1000 1 to 3 kilo rod, and it's got like 6 pound, 8 pound leader. I want to see if they're bream that I'm seeing coming by, essentially. So I got a little grub on it. Try up on the flat. We don't have a super low, so this may not even actually fully drain. I'm hopeful it will, but I'm wondering if the fish are still up on the flat at the moment. What do we got here? Hey, little flatty. There you go, first fish. It's taken a while. There's a little baby flathead. So we will just de-hook him, chuck him back. He's not what we're after. Well, he's what we're after, but he's very much the wrong size. Wait. Oh. But the good thing is, there's flathead here. He may be the wrong size, but he's the right species. One of the right species anyway. So he was just sitting out here. So I was tucked more around the corner and I was just sort of fishing this this part here. And I've come more around this bend just to see if there's anything like in this channel as it runs along, and yeah, it's not too bad to pick up him. Oh, and there was another hit. It's a good start. Actually getting hits now. I think I might have been too far down. There we go. Nope, lost him. He felt like another small flatty, to be honest with you. Didn't feel like he had any size to him. Sun's coming up nicely though. Seen 2 crabbers so far. So definitely, there's stacks of bait here, which is good to see. It's a big food source for all the fish, really. Oh, there we go. That hit like a flatty. Oh, he's a good sized flatty. Fairly light line. We're only running 10-pound braid, I think, an 8-pound leader, 3.5-inch grub. So this is a 1 to 3 kilo rod, but you know, it just helps with casting, and he's a good sized flatty. Like I said, he's probably I think he's going to be up around that 50 range when he comes in. Pinned him right in the top lip. Oh, he's not quite ready. There we go. Oh. As usual, chucked it in the boat, so tiny amount of serration, but yeah, it held up fine, which is good. Just that, little grubby. There you go, guys. He has gone 53. So he's a good size. Don't think he's a female yet, but he or she, that's okay. But really happy with that. First light, about an hour and a bit in. We've still got about an hour before low tide, but just hit that grub. So we'll let him go and we'll get back into it. So we're going to persist with that grub a little bit longer. You know, the lead is still pretty good. It has a very slight fray on it, but I don't see that causing any issues. Right, we're going to persist with that grub a little bit longer now based on that result. 3 casts, 2 flathead, 1 hit. So the lead is still looking pretty good overall. Very small fray, but it's for the 8-pound, it's still looking good. So they were just sitting essentially here. So all that water sort of funnels into this little channel. Like I said, I was fishing further back, but as I popped around the corner, seems to be performing slightly better. So I have sounded 2 dewies so far. Obviously it would be nice to catch one, but I have no idea what they're going to be taking. Thought that was a little flathead or something, eh? I don't know if you've seen that as I hopped it, it went boom. Oh no, just a weirdly acting bream. I'm calling a bream for a flathead. Yeah, he's a little bit odd, eh? He hit it on the drop and then he just did nothing with it. He's not a bad size bream. He'd probably go that 28 centimetre, something around that. Send him back. Yeah, we've been watching the sounder and there's a heap of stuff just sitting over here. So I thought, oh, I'll just cast at it. It's just to the right there. I can see it on side scan, and yeah, it just must be a school of bream just sitting there, eh? They're right on the edge of the drop off. I just thought it was bait. Thinking to myself, oh, there's a big school of bait there. I'll just plonk this through it. Thinking after this cast we're going to drift back and then we're going to fish essentially all beneath us here. Probably do that, just sort of move around this bend, try and figure out what's going to work. Like moving into here has been great because we've got all this bait coming down from us, so that worked out quite well. There you go. I didn't even feel that take. I guess in a little flatty. Yeah, a little one. Back he goes. He was small. Lead's so good. Put another cast in actually, just on the back of that. The old cast and don't pay attention, eh? There you go. What was it saying? Cast, don't pay attention, hook up. Another nice flathead, probably that low 40. Doesn't want to come on board. Ah, he's spun on a lure and it's gone around his guts, because I was thinking to myself, he's gotten heavier. There's that one, 45 centimeters, so he's another nice size. We'll spare him down. So I was just about to move, but I think we're kind of getting onto a little bit of a technique here. It's a cast out, let it hit the bottom, don't pay attention, grab it. So he actually serrated that up a bit, so we'll give it a quick retie. So it being 8 pounds, you can't really get away with too much. Some people I know will run like 15, 20 pound, but it's too excessive. My feeling is all these fish are sitting up on these flats. As they're draining, they're just swimming down, and then we're sitting in like more of a hole, because it's all super shallow up there. So I reckon that they're all just sort of cruising down here with all the bait, and then they're just laying in ambush, just waiting for the bait to come down into it. we're going to leave that spot, run to another spot. The incoming has started, so the water's starting to push up onto these flats. I just think it's going to scatter the fish too much. Went all right. We got those 2 good flathead, those 2 or 3 small ones at Bream. I sounded what looked to be a really good Jew, but I don't know where he went. He was cruising around, he's disappeared. So I went up and down, couldn't find him, but that's just the way it is. So we're gonna go to another spot. We're gonna fish the back end of a sandbar. So probably throw the bent minnow, or I'll throw the small swim bait. But let's get cruising, let's see how we go. Alrighty, so the plan is, we've got a nice incoming tide. It's going to push across this flat here and drop into this like hole that we're in. So the water's started running in. It's a bit of wind against tide, but it's really starting to chop it up. But what that's going to do is create this big dirty water line across that. So that's our plan, is we're going to tuck in here and then we're going to fish along it. So we're going to start off with the bent minnow. It's a floating lure. So as it goes down, it floats up. It's really erratic, but I find for this style of fishing, it's really good because you can put it up there in the shallows and essentially just get it straight down and off it. It's got this super erratic retrieve to it. I don't know if you can see it in the water, but it's just, it zips, it zags, it does all sorts of stuff, and the flathead really seem to respond well to it. Don't think old mate's crab pot's doing too much over there, eh? Look at it, just chilling out there in the sun. Tell you what, if you did manage to get anything, it's probably long dead now, eh? So the water, we fished back there wasn't too much current flow coming across it. As I've sort of come more up, I can see it's actually starting to push across now. But the tide only just turned maybe half an hour ago, so that's how shallow we are. In case you're wondering, the answer is very. There goes one. He was sitting just there. So that's 2 that we've spooked so far. They've both been small though. Both been small fish. But yeah, they're coming out of this sort of region just in here between us and the bank. I can see there's a heap of bait up on this flat. Oh, there's one. Oh. Ah, oh, pulled it. Drag's not even that tight. As soon as this water, it started to get a little bit deeper. So we're up a lot shallower, and then you can see there's all this shell and grit here. There you go, straight on. Well, it would have been 2 and 2 casts, but yeah. You get the idea. Yeah, as soon as we found this little bit of grit, we're finding the flatties. He looks like he's a decent size. It's always hard with this lure because they'll wrap themselves up. So it's really tricky to tell, have you got him, you know? Yeah, nicely done. He's about I think he's going to go 50. High 40s, looking at him. Yeah, I've only just pinned him now. He's thrown 1 hook. He's managed to throw 1 hook on us. It's the problem with this lure, so they tend to throw hooks easy. Oh, there you go. Gets it done. Really well conditioned fish. to another healthy one for the day. This one's gone 51. He's not big, but it's just about the way you're catching them, I find. So he's a nice size, 51. Yeah, a little gob of his. So we've tagged this fella. It's always dangerous putting your hands in their mouth. Always dangerous putting your hands in their mouth because they tend to latch on, but we'll chuck him back and I'll show you the lure. We'll get back into it then. That's all he came on. So that's just a bent minnow. It's like a $40 lure. You can get like Crossfire do versions, heaps of people do different versions of them. It's just a 130 mil. But as you've seen, they work. Like that was just 2 fish once I got into the right region in very quick succession, drop one, land one. The other one looked to be about the same size. But what we'll do is we'll cast out, see if we can get another one. Super healthy fish. One. So we get some height to us, but they were just sitting in this this part here, so it's a little bit deeper than where we were at the start. We're just sort of pushing further along. But that's pulled hooks on one, hooked one, which is not too bad for those 2 casts. But as this tide increases, the fish should start to move down towards us. But what you want is a nice long cast like that. Like that's prime. That way you can get a lot of, you can just cover so much more area. I was contemplating throwing on a little swim bait, but I think there's too much water movement here at the moment. Just don't think it's going to produce as well. I have actually caught them on these sorts of sandbars when you're fishing on top of it as well. But they just seem to want to sit in this drop off, which is very flathead like. You know, it's the age old classic, you just look for the drop offs. Doesn't matter where you are, you can rinse and repeat it. There's no real difference. Because you can put such big casts in and cover ground so quickly for them. This is all they're coming in. Like you can see the bottom, it's crystal clear. Not crystal, but it's very clear. They're all just sitting right in here in this ripples. Oh, there goes one there. Well, there goes another one. He was an alright size one. And another one. There you go. They're here. Oh, got one. Straight. There you go. Straight on. Oh, pulled him. He was on top of that sandbar. You know what, we might throw the little swim bait on. Like this is clearly working, but I've got another rod, so I'll give it a quick crack. Don't know how well this is going to work. It's actually a floating swim bait, so a little bit doubtful on that. I think there might be too much current, eh? We'll give it one more cast. Last cast. I think there's too much current here for it. Making it too tricky.
Oh no. Turns out there's not too much current. Just had to slow it up a bit. Very nice little guy. He's only just pinned. Well, he managed to rehook himself. Yeah, so it works just as well. Ugh, can pole him because it's such a big leader. Oh, look what he's been eating. Look at that. Maybe it's not too big. But that's what he's been eating, herring. Yeah, it was definitely worth coming down here when you consider the effort I went into this morning to get those handful of flatties. There was that one good one, but the rest were that smaller size, and then to come here and just be straight onto them is it's a nice little reward. Had to work hard for these fish though, haven't we? Especially stuff this morning. That's us dusted, done and dusted. It's a good session, good session. I'd have to check my tagging book, but I think we got 5 to 7 flathead. We got that one decent one. We got those couple of smaller ones, which weren't too bad. Variety of techniques. It didn't really matter what we were throwing. They just, yeah, like we caught them on the grub, we've caught them on the paddle tail, I caught them on the swim bait, and I caught them on the topwater. So it's just good, eh? Like we fished, this morning we were fishing that sort of area, that big drop off, and it was a bit slow going, and you know, they came on when that tide was just about to turn. Tide turned, slacked off, did a run down here and hit this sandbank as the water's pushing on, and worked out quite well. So I'm glad I came down here, got a bit of entertainment. But yeah, that's gonna do us. We're gonna head back to the ramp and catch us on the next one, eh?